We're 2 weeks into the NFL season, and the Denver Broncos are already showing problematic trends that, if they don't address soon, they will affect their chances of getting into the playoffs. While the Broncos were barely able to pull off a win against the Texans this last week, after their inexcusable loss to the Seahawks in Week 1, there still is a lot of concern surrounding this team. Anyone that is watching this team right now can clearly see that their self-inflicted mistakes are really affecting their ability to score. This was their second straight week of 10-plus penalties, and already in the past 2 weeks, they've committed 25 penalties with 206 penalty yards for the season so far. That is a lot for the past 2 weeks, and that is really the number one thing that they need to address right now. And majority of the blame, I think, has to go on the coaching staff, right? The level of inexperience throughout this coaching staff is really being highlighted right now. They have new coaches in every level of their coaching staff, from the head coach to offensive and defensive coordinators, and you can see it in the play of the field. The delay of game calls, the horrible clock management, the weird usage of timeouts. It's really clear that this coaching staff has not had a grasp on how to manage the game from the sideline. And the number one person that needs to step up and take responsibility for this is their head coach. Nathaniel Hackett really has to reconsider what his duty should be on game day. I've seen some people saying that he should consider giving up play calling right now, because the more important need right now is to figure out how to better coach the game from the sideline so that they are not committing penalties and they are not getting all of these self-inflicted mistakes. Give the job up to someone else, your offensive coordinator right now. Maybe consider having a better hold over your team so that they are not committing all of these self-inflicted mistakes. And the red zone inefficiency of this team is now officially a trend. Over the past 2 weeks, they are one of 2 teams in the NFL that have not scored a touchdown from the red zone. So that's from the 20-yard line to the end zone. They have not scored a touchdown from that close. Okay, that is a problem. After going 0 for 4 against the Seahawks last week, they visited the red zone twice against the Texans, and they still couldn't leave with a touchdown. That has to change. You cannot win football games if you're not able to score from the red zone and you're relying on big plays, these big-time plays, in order to score, or field goals, right? Better play calling needs to happen again. That is something that Hackett needs to get a better hold of. The entire offense needs to be on pace, be on the same page, and get a better understanding of how to score, how to leave the field with touchdowns and not just field goals. The injuries are continuing to plague this team as well. They're just piling up. They're not making things any easier for this team. Patrick Surtain left the game with an injury. Jerry Jeudy also left the game with an injury. And keep in mind, they are already without their star safety, Justin Simmons, who's on IR right now. And the injuries piling up are not going to make things any easier for this team, because their schedule is not getting easier anytime soon. 2 good things, however, that I can take away from the past 2 weeks. Courtland Sutton is really showing that he is one of the better receivers in this league. In the Texans game just this past Sunday, he had 7 catches for 122 yards, and a lot of that was without any other really complimentary receivers able to help out in the receiving game. With Jerry Jeudy gone, the depth of receiver is really showing in Denver, and nobody else has been able to step up to help out Courtland Sutton, but at least Courtland Sutton has shown that he can be a number 1 reliable receiving option. The defense also looks legit. Over the past 2 weeks, they haven't allowed a scoring touchdown to any of their opponents, and that is, of course, without some of their good players on defense, like Justin Simmons, like I mentioned before. I know they've gone against teams that haven't had great offenses. However, I think that is a good sign that they haven't allowed a scoring touchdown to any of those teams so far. When all is said and done, at least they were able to walk away from Week 2 with a win. But they are lucky, and they have to address the concerns that they have very soon, because if they don't address those concerns and those problems continue to plague this team throughout the season, their chances of making the playoffs, they might as well say goodbye to them, because in a tough AFC division, in a tough AFC conference, those type of mistakes are not going to allow a team to make the playoffs, let alone make a deep run into the playoffs. So that's all I had for the Broncos this week. I'm going to try to see if I can make more videos this week with now 2 weeks into the NFL season. Really appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you guys later. Take care.